Hey guys, so I wanted to show you today what is in my gear bag because I've been getting a lot of questions lately from either new photographers or people trying to transition into weddings about like what gear they should get, what they should upgrade to, why, and all that. So I just want to show you what's in my bag and why I have the things that I have, and what I use it for. So okay, we're just gonna go for it. So I currently shoot on two bodies. I shoot Canon. I have the Canon 6D Mark I and the Canon 6D Mark II. And I know a lot of people are haters against those cameras, simply because, I mean, lots of reasons. People all have their preferences, basically. But when I first started shooting weddings, I had the 6D Mark I because it was cheap, but still an incredible camera. And honestly, I have just been holding tight to that one for so long. It's so messed up. Like, look at it. I mean, it still functions almost perfectly. This thing doesn't work. But to me, gear is not about prestige. It's about what is actually going to get the job done in the way that you want it done. And to me, just the 6D has always been incredible. The colors are beautiful, like so much better than the 5D and so much better than any camera that I've ever seen. So that is why I love my 6D. So then I was like, well, I have to upgrade, but like, what do I do? Do I go Sony? Do I go the 5D Mark IV? Wait for Canon to like come up with something better, or do I just get the second version of the 6D? And obviously I went with the 6D because it had everything that I loved about my first 6D, except it has this gorgeous, amazing touchscreen that actually flips out, plus some other things, and like face tracking and whatnot. But I love this camera. It has been so good to me, and it's still pretty affordable. So if you're like, if you can't afford them, anything crazy like the R or anything like that, highly recommend this one. The only bummer that I'm still struggling with is the fact that it only has one card slot. And that's kind of freaking me out a little bit, not gonna lie. So I'm probably gonna have to get the 5D Mark IV at some point soon in the next couple months, or I don't know. I'm undecided if I should switch to the Sony. I think it's like A7 something. I don't know. A7 III or something. I don't know. But I've heard that that one is incredible, and I love the video and face tracking accuracy with that as well. And it's mirrorless and so light and so nice. So I don't know. We're gonna find out what I do there. But yeah, those are the bodies that I shoot on currently. And I carry them on this snazzy little harness thing that I'm obsessed with. It's so nice because it just like takes the weight off my shoulders and doesn't let, like it doesn't smack around like it used to. With all my cameras like hanging on either side of me, it's like nice by my hips. Super great. I love that I can attach like a million things to it, because I don't know, when I'm at a wedding I usually have like one camera on each side, but at a shoot I only need one body, so I will usually attach my water here. Sometimes I have like a little mini bag with another lens in it, and then I always carry this amazing speaker that I love. Every single photographer should have this speaker. It's great. This is obviously not sponsored, but I just love it because it has a clip, and can't do this one-handed. Boom. And then it just connects to my phone, obviously. And I love playing music at my sessions. I usually ask couples to either bring their own music, or I just ask them the day of what their favorite kind of pump-up music is, or romantic music. It just gets everybody in a good mood, and honestly, people say that it makes them feel so comfortable because it just fills in the gaps like of awkward silence where they're like kissing and you're like, all creepy and like behind your camera. Like it makes it a lot better for everybody if you just have some music playing, so it's more romantic and not weird. So yeah, have music at your sessions, guys, if you don't already. Okay, so lenses. I have a million different lenses, and I have strong opinions about all of them. So we're just gonna start with this one. No, we're not gonna start with this one. So my go-to lenses for weddings is this bad boy right here, the 24-70 2.8 Canon. I love this lens. It's 2.8, which is kind of a bummer. Like I wish it could go wider, but yeah, sorry, I'm like not This is not proper lens care, you guys. But I love this thing. It's great for ceremonies and it's awesome for family portraits because it can just like be super wide. And then if, you know, when I'm down the aisle, usually I like walking up and down the aisle and getting kind of close, but I don't like to be like right up in their faces because guests don't want to see that. Nobody wants a photographer up in their face. So, but I still like this one because it lets me go in and grab them without, you know, so I don't need to like stand that far or that close to them, but it also means that I can get those really cool wide shots as well and just be really variable on the during the ceremony. And yeah, pretty much anything that I need to shoot wide, I shoot with that lens. I actually love that one for receptions as well with my little flash guy on top because yeah, again, it lets me like zoom in when I want and get wide when I want. So love that one. I shoot with that guy all the time. This is my newfound love. I've been putting off buying it for a very long time, but I finally did a couple months ago, and I can say it has never left my camera, pretty much. It never leaves because it's just like all in one, incredible. This is the Canon 35, and man, I just love it. I love it, love, love it. And so here's a little, I guess, tip for if you're looking to buy new gear or like what you should consider when you're buying gear is think about your shooting style. So if you're new, you might not know exactly, but if you're experienced, then I don't know, there are a lot of photographers out there that have their own opinions about like this you have to have, this one you have to have, but in my experience, it has not usually been that way. I like to test things out a lot before I commit to buying it, and I want to hear from other people that shoot in similar styles as me, which is why I'm making this video, because I think that a lot of people are obsessed with the 85, and I'm not. I never really use it. It's a great lens. It's honestly gorgeous. The bokeh, so pretty, so awesome, but it means that I have to stand really far away from my clients, and I don't like that. I like to be right up in there, like pretty much arm's distance away. If I need to get wide, then I'll back up, but you know, I want to be able to like be constantly reassuring them, being like, oh my gosh, you guys are doing so good, you're so cute, wow, yeah, keep kissing, keep, you know, bend her, lean her back, whatever. So I don't like to be that far away from my clients because I want to be able to like not lose my voice at the end of a session or a wedding, even though it happens most of the time anyway. But yeah, that's why I like the 35 is because it lets me get really close while still being able to shoot wide and getting intimate with them and close up. So that's why I don't like the 85. Although if you are someone that loves to get like incredible portraits with like that super yummy bokeh, that is definitely the lens for you. I love it. If you want to buy from me, I will sell it because I don't really use it. Yeah, that was a very good sales tactic right there because I doubt any of you guys want this now since I just said I didn't like it, but I still love it. This is actually the Tamron version, not the Canon, which I actually really like this one. I usually don't ever go off besides Canon, but this lens has actually got some very, very, very good reviews. And it's like, I don't even know, it's like half the price of the Canon one. And it's just as great. And it's fast, it's awesome, 1.8, love it. Well, love, hate it. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the lens, it's just me. And this is the 24-105, it's f4. This was my first lens that I bought. It was a kit lens, but I don't really use it anymore, but I really like it still. If you want to get nice and close, and I don't know, it's a great lens. L glass. It's a good starting lens for somebody who's like transitioning to, wanting to like actually get good with photography and get good glass. Like that's a pretty good one. Yeah, but again, it's f4, so you're gonna be limited with the amount of light that it can take in. So that's why I don't really use it. But I still have it. And this is the Rinky Dinky 40, which I never use, but 2.8. It's kind of fun though sometimes. I actually love this one for traveling. Like if I'm not necessarily for a wedding or for a session, but when I'm just like bumping around and wanting to take my camera places because I hate iPhone pictures. Yeah, I hate cell phone pictures, but so I want to bring my camera, but I don't want to have like this gigantic lens on that's not going to be variable or that's not going to like, I don't know, because I don't know what I'm going to be taking pictures of when I'm traveling. So I love popping this guy on because it's literally so light and it is like worth nothing. I think it was like $100. So I just like pop it on and boom, I take it everywhere. I use my ratchet old body and it's great. And then you have to worry about, you know, if it gets stolen, it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, okay. The 50. So as you know, everybody loves the 50 mil. It's so great. Every single person has shot on one before and it's just an incredible lens. So there are three, if you don't know, there are three 50 millimeter lenses by Canon. This is the 1.8. It's the worst one. It's the Nifty 50, $125, so cheap, but it's 1.8, and honestly, before I could afford other gear, I just shot on this one all the time, and it also rarely left my camera. Now that I have the 35, I don't usually use this one anymore, but this lens is amazing. I love it. Seriously, zero complaints. For being as cheap as it is, it's so crazy how great quality it is. But I know a lot of people want something that's going to be able to handle less light, so they get the 1.4 or 1.2. The 1.4 I've heard is, I mean, it's such a jump in price. It's so much more for not that big of a difference. And the quality of it is not that great for the price jump, but the 1.2 is amazing, and most people like die to have it. But the reason why I don't really have it is because I honestly, like, it's so much money and I don't really see it having that big of a difference. And I know some people say that it is a big difference, but I would just rather shoot on my 35 instead of spending the money on something that's gonna have like very little focal distance difference. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get it eventually because it is 1.2 and that's pretty baller, but we'll find out. Okay. And this is my also super, wow, I realize I have a bunch of ratchet gear right now. Oh well, it gets the job done, right? So that's the number one thing is, yeah, I don't care about prestige at all. And I don't care about what other photographers think of me in terms of, for sure, in terms of gear. People get like really hoity-toity about it, but I'm like, if I'm gonna get the same quality image as you are for a lot cheaper and a lot lighter and it's gonna just fit what I want more, then I'm just gonna do that. Like, why would I spend the money? Because it adds up a lot. So I'll probably upgrade this one though. I really want to get the 70-200 for ceremonies, but right now I'm using this one for ceremonies because it's very rare that a ceremony will happen after dark anyway. So I usually, you know, normally it happens in the middle of the day when it's super bright, so I don't really need it for the low light capabilities. So I have this one, it's 75-300. I pop that on my second body and then I use it to grab like these amazing close-ups of people when they're saying their vows, when they're putting on, exchanging the rings. Yeah, and I love this guy. But that's about all I use it for. It's 1.4, so I don't really use it, It's f4, so I don't really use it for anything else. But it's really, really great for ceremony. I love it for that. And of course, you guys, if you're gonna be doing weddings, I had somebody recently tell me that, actually I had a couple people say that you should never use flash. And if you're a natural light photographer, you should never use flash. And at one point, I would have agreed with them. However, you guys, like, no. Like, if you're shooting weddings, like, there's no way. You need flash. Like, you need it. You have to have it. And especially with as creative as you can get with flash, it can be show-stopping, like, the pictures that you can get with them. So I love using flash. I only use it for reception. I never use it for anything else. I never use it for sessions really, unless it's like totally after dark, we need them for a specific creative purpose. But yeah, if there's a sunset, I'll just get silhouettes or I'll make do in other ways, pump the ISO if I need to, not a crazy amount, but yeah, I would just rather do that than use the flash because I understand how it can be really ugly and cheesy to have like this weird beach flashed photo with a sunset in the background. Like, it just does not look natural at all. So I don't use it for that personally, but yeah, I have 2 flashes that I love. Yes, so that's all like the main gear, but I did want to say, if you're not using lens filters, protective filters, y'all need them. Not only do you need a lens cap, but you gotta have your protective filters on each of your lenses. It's so important. And yeah, because one time I completely biffed it, dropped my camera, and because I didn't have a strap on because I'm stupid, and it totally just smacked the camera. I actually cried on the spot. It was super embarrassing in front of a ton of people. But because I had the protective filter, the glass was fine. It was just the protector that was broken. So it saved me like thousands of dollars. So you guys need to do that if you're not doing it already. Yeah. Oh, and another thing that I wanted to say is memory cards. If you use SD cards, then you need to make sure that you're using memory cards that write really fast. So I would say something as fast or faster than 95 megabytes per second. It's super important because especially, well, if you're like me and you're shooting like, for certain like movement poses and stuff that you're having people do, it's super important that your memory card is writing it really fast because you can be clicking the shutter, and your camera can be actually like doing it or whatever, but your memory card can't write that fast. So you need to have something that's going to write fast, something that's going to actually like be able to handle the amount of clicks that you're doing per second. So yeah, 95 or above. Yeah. And in terms of like bags and actually like carrying all this gear around, this is like my main bag. You've probably seen it in like my stories, but I love this bag. I think it's leather, I don't know. But it's super great because I'll just show you. It has a laptop sleeve, which is super helpful because I can take it everywhere. And then it has like, you can make it do whatever, but it's totally protected on the inside. I got it on Amazon, I don't know. Yeah, but I love it. It is a little bit heavy over the shoulder, so I kind of go back and forth like, oh, do I want a backpack? Do I want to keep the bag? I don't know, but I like this one because it means that I can just set it down on the ground and open it up and have all the lenses accessed on the top. Whereas a lot of backpacks, you either need to put them on their side, they get dirty real easily, blah, blah, blah. You can't access all the pouches at the same time. So that's why I got this one. Yeah, and then so that's like my wedding bag. And then this is sometimes I have a backpack too. And then this is my session bag. And I like it because I can also clip stuff to it. Yeah, super nice, I can clip stuff. But I like it because it's also protected and it's cute. Like it looks like a purse. I've actually used it as a purse. You just take out the camera holder. Yeah, and it holds 2 lenses or another body, whatever. So I love bringing that, and it's a lot lighter than carrying a backpack and getting all sweaty. And carrying my big bag at just a little session where I maybe only need 2 or 3 lenses. So yeah, and one last thing, actually 2 more things. I also have an emergency kit that I bring to every single wedding. If you're a wedding photographer, I highly recommend having one of these because it'll save your life and it'll make your couples super happy when they need a safety pin or scissors or, they're dying and they need a granola bar, but it has chargers. I have all kinds of stuff. Extra ribbon, sunscreen, all kinds of things for myself and for the couples. But one thing that was really funny actually is I went to a wedding and the bride was putting on her dress and she was like, oh no, like I'm wearing granny panties. And we all were just like, oh, like what do we do? Like, oh no, you can't, that sucks. But so she looked to her sister and she's like, give me your underwear. Like, what underwear are you wearing? Give me your underwear. So her sister gave her like some cute underwear, but that was just like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm putting a cute little lacy thing in this emergency kit just in case I have another bride one day that's like does not have the right kind of underwear on. So, keep pasties in there, all kinds of undergarments, like everything. So yeah, highly recommend doing that. It'll help your client experience a lot and it'll make you feel better and it'll just make them like super happy when you have all the answers and everything in there. So super great. And yeah, so one question that I always get asked is, from new photographers, what's a great starter camera or what's a good starter camera? So that is, in my opinion, there's so many great cameras out there now that it's hard to keep up. And there's not one brand is not better than the other in my opinion. They're all different. It kind of just works with what you like. And I know that as a beginner, you might not know what you like, but that's why I think it's important to either rent or borrow or just get recommendations from people. Yeah, if you're in a photography class, ask your photography teacher, because it just really depends on what you like working with. I chose Canon because I like the user experience better than Nikon. I started off Nikon and then I switched to Canon. But yeah, so I like the user experience in the menu better with Canon. But yeah, there's so many great starter cameras. Like you really, honestly, like can't go wrong. If you're wanting to go like professional with it instead of like just hobby, then honestly, I recommend the 6D. Like it's great. It's super cheap and it's full frame, gets the job done before. And then from there, you can kind of like branch out and figure out what you like and what you like to shoot on and what makes sense for you. So there's that. And then the last question is someone asked, should I dive in and buy like a bunch of good gear first? Because I think their point was that they are going to be growing into it and they want to have it for years to come, which is totally reasonable. And I agree. That's kind of where I started with too. But in my opinion, you might not know exactly how you like to shoot, like I said before. So you should really just start off, I mean, I recommend the 50 millimeter, super great, really cheap, and you can do amazing stuff with it. And yeah, I mean, it can be adapted to anything. You can take portraits on it. I mean, I've done landscapes on it. I've shot like weddings with it 95% of the time on my camera. So like you can do anything with that lens. So I highly recommend that one. But other than that, like don't go spend $2,000 on a lens if you're not sure how you like to shoot, because then you're gonna end up like me buying stuff that you realize you don't need. And then, you know, depreciation, you're not gonna be able to sell it for as much. So yes, if you enjoyed this video, yay, I'm so glad. Like and subscribe, just kidding. This isn't YouTube. Okay, well, thank you guys for being here. Let me know if you have any comment or questions in the comments, and I would love to answer them. If you have like specific needs or anything like that, let me know. But disclaimer, I am not a tech guru, so I can't exactly answer like the nitty gritty stuff. But if you need somebody who is more from like a practical standpoint, and you know, for me, I want my gear to just be a tool, and I don't want it to like run the show. I want to run the show, and I want my clients to run the show, and I want it to be more about like my relationship with them and our interactions during the shoot. I don't want to be focused on all these crazy settings. Like if something is underexposed or overexposed or whatever on my camera, like, and I look at it and I'm like, oh dang it, like I wish it was like a little bit better. I'm not gonna make them redo what I just did unless it needs to be. But you know, if it can be fixed in post, like if I get an incredible shot and it can be fixed in post a little bit, then I'm just gonna do that, because it's more about the experience and less about getting it picture perfect. Although with that, I don't wanna, you know, I wanna say that it's super important to get it right in camera rather than focusing on editing, because that's not good either. Like you wanna be a good photographer, not just a good editor. So yeah, anyway, that was a lot of word vomit, but thanks for watching, you guys. Okay, see you later.